Paycheck the UFC offered me, my last paycheck they said they offered me and I turned down. I could have turned up, won a bonus, and it's still not what Bellator offered.
Experience Real podcast.
I always say they build them different up here.
Yeah,
they do like
up in the valleys.
Up
like,
in the valley, it's crazy.
Made of iron. Like. Yeah, well, ready when you are, man.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Huh?
You happy to pull it a little bit closer?
Yeah, of course. How's that?
That's sound, mate. If it's
is
it a bit loud in your ears? Or
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Righto. Thanks for coming in, Brett.
Thank you for having me. Obviously, it was a nice little spin up here. I think a lot of people forget sometimes. I'm from down South Wales. You know, I'm from Swansea, Llanelli, and I travel up to SMMA every so often, but people think I'm from up here. But it's nice. It's lovely up here, though.
Oh, mate, it's awesome coming down over that mountain. Like, it's a hell of a view, isn't it?
I was saying earlier, like, I love the sort of like this part of Wales where it's quite. I drove into here and I passed a sign that said Powys. That I'm a long way from home.
You're a long way from home, mate. You're in the hills up there, like.
Weather's not too bad though up here.
Yeah, you know it's real when you just see sheep everywhere rather than people, like, it. Pretty much where we're at. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I would like to go back a bit, Brett, and just kind of talk about how you got into MMA.
Yeah, no worries. Basically, I've done martial arts for a very long time, you know, and I think growing up in Pontarddulais, where I was originally from, you know, my mother was a single parent. I think my dad moved away, get on with his own life, and my mother was a single parent of 3 children, so there would be my older sister, me, and my younger brother, who is the personal assistant now. He's the brains. He's the brains of the group.
How does he like that job?
All fairness to him, he's good at it. I mean, and like you'd think I'd be his boss, but it's the other way around. Really, he'll say like, you need to stop pulling your finger out with certain things. You know,
keeping you in line.
I'll be on my YouTube channel doing my own thing, and he'll go, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. But my mother was a single parent, and my sister started judo at the time. And I think she must have thought it would have been a good idea to put me in Ashen as well. And she eventually met my stepfather, Andrew Burt, who was my first ever coach, my sensei. And like I still speak to my stepfather to this day. Him and my mother are not together now, but like, you know, I still speak to him. He is my dad, you know.
Your father figure.
He is. Yeah. So like I say, I always talk to people. You know, Andrew was the guy who lived with us, who saved money to buy school clothes for us, so I consider him my dad, you know, and he's an exceptional coach as well, you know. He's come across some great judo players in his time, and we always have that little debate about things like a father and son relationship is. He'll say certain things, I'll disagree, but no, man, I end up doing all that until 16 with like aspiration for the Olympics, but that ended up becoming like a bit of an unrealistic goal. I hit about maybe 2010, 2009 maybe. And obviously with the goal of 2012 Olympics, which was like 3 years away. And I just realised that I'm nowhere near where I need to be. But at the time I was thinking I'm training. I'm doing everything I need to do. But looking back now, the training I was doing back then compared to the training I was doing now, the blueprint for any fighter in this game, people say, how'd you get to where you're going now? I'm like, it's one thing. That's all there is. And it's hard work. And you know what I mean? If you can put your hard work in and you commit yourself fully to the sport. I train twice a day, every single day, other than a Sunday. It's my day of rest. It's hard, man. It's hard. And, you know, I wake up on a Sunday. Don't get me wrong. And these other fighters will think it's hard. I wake up on a Sunday morning and I can't sit up proper. My back's hurting me. It can get tough, you know. And going back to the judo era, I think I was 16 at the time, and I was in school and I didn't have many friends in school. I had friends in school, but not many friends. And I remember going into sixth form, and I'd spend most lunchtime and break times, because like the sixth form guys and the rest of the school, they don't have the same class. You have a lot of spare time between lessons. And I went to the library. I'd passed Miss Hinton, who was the librarian. Miss Hinton, I'm just going to go on YouTube and watch some fights. And she was like, basically crack on. So people don't know I was in basically just a Welsh school. You know, you would get a bit of a telling off from the schoolyard if you spoke English. That's how Welsh it was in my school. So I'd walk into the Llyfrgell, the library, and I'd go, Miss Hinton, fi'n mynd ar yr cyfrifiadur I gwylio fights. And she goes, yep, no problem, you know. And I remember coming across, you know, UFC for the first proper time. And I looked at the sport and thought this would be super cool for me to do, because, you know, I was doing judo at the time. and it would be a good way to transfer it over to a different sport. I didn't want to do like, judo doesn't transfer. If you put judo and football, it doesn't transfer over. You want to put, I'd say judo and rugby did.
Probably, yeah. It's like that. Probably the balance and everything and the taking down. And
and the tackles and stuff. Yeah. And like, if you watch my judo style, it was very much wrestling rugby style. I love the double leg, so the most rugby players. And I remember, but I had no interest in rugby, I'm not saying no interest. I did do a bit of rugby at the time, but it was more for the social aspect of youth rugby, but I was no good. I spent probably 80% of the time on the bench, and the times I did play, I didn't play very well, But I looked at the MMA, and it just kind of gripped me, really. I was watching guys like Brad Pickett, who was in WEC at the time. Because when I first originally wanted to do fighting, there was lightweight, and that was the lowest category you could go. It's lightweight. It's crazy now when you look back, right? But that era where there was only lightweight, for the smaller guys like me, there was WEC, and that was for the featherweights, the bantamweights, and some lightweights, because people forget, people like Donald Cerrone, Benson Henderson, Anthony Pettis, they come over into the UFC lightweight division. But at that time, I was watching them guys and thinking, this is something I wanted to do. And I went to my local BJJ gym and started training for the fight, as well as doing my bits of my judo. But that's probably the switch in my head that kind of said, you need to be training more. But once I started that ball rolling with the MMA, the judo took a back step then, I wasn't the best in the UK. I wasn't the best in Wales. I wasn't even the best in my own gym. My best mate, Kyle, at the time, he was a 66 kilo judo player, the same as me. And I just was levels behind that guy. Levels, not just, I'm close. I'd be on the judo mat and I'd get battered every Monday and Wednesday night by him, and thinking,
what made you realise about the Olympics?
I was gone then. And like even Kyle will tell you, because he is I'm a best man in his way, and he's the best man in my way. We're good friends. But even he'd tell you that the level when he was there, it was tough to get to that 66 Olympic squad. People forget sometimes, although we don't pull many judo medals in the Olympics, we have some exceptional judo players out there. Ashley McKenzie, there's been loads and loads and loads, But that's when I realised that judo was, and I don't do much judo now, I'll be honest with you, because I'm committed to the sport. But if I do get a spare night, I will go down my dad's gym and see the kids there and help out. But it's one of them things, it's once in a blue moon now,
Yeah, I suppose it's good for them to see you come down as something to aspire to, innit? Because I would imagine like someone from there may end up wanting to do
100%, MMA. And not only that as well, my dad's got a really good track record with judo for special needs and disabled judo.
Yeah, oh really?
My dad's an amputee himself. See, my dad lost his left leg going back about the same time when I wanted to start MMA. So he lost his left leg. It was quite a tough time for my dad.
I'd imagine, mate, because that's like it's not just your physical body, like debilitates your mind, doesn't it? Something like that.
The phantom pains he was telling me about. His foot was itchy. He goes, my foot's itchy. And I go, do you mean itchy? He goes, it's not the foot that's there. It's the other foot. Like
it's nuts. A bloke in work lost his finger. He said the same thing. Like
phantom pains.
That's strange.
It's crazy. Yeah. But no, he ended up having the surgery. And at the time, that was such a crazy time looking back now. I think I was about 17, 18 at the time. So it was probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But previously to that surgery, my dad's left leg was knackered anyway. He had surgery going back, if I'm correct, about 93, where JPR Williams, the Welsh fullback, was a surgeon, and he operated my dad's leg. The surgery didn't go to plan, and he had a permanent straight left leg. And then fast forward to about 10 years ago, which is about, I'd say about 2011, 2010, he fell out of bed, banged his knee, and then the septicemia started kicking in. And I remember getting picked up from school one time, and we drove basically where I live, and he said, I got to stop the car, and he opened the door, and it was like a projectile vomit. It was like something you'd see from, have you seen the film Team America World Police?
Yeah, fucking
hell. Have you seen the scene where he's spewing?
Scene, innit?
That's literally what my dad was doing. And I think my mother said, you need to go to hospital, and then...
Scary, that, innit?
Yeah, and the doctor didn't like beat her on the bush. He went, Mr. Bird, when's the last time you eaten? He said, I don't know, about 4 or 5 hours ago. He goes, good, don't eat no more, because that's coming off in the morning. Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Well, it was either
How do you
that.
deal with that news, like, innit?
But you know, for my dad, it was easy. It was either that or death. So you can pick what you want to do, like, you know.
Yeah, easy choice then.
But yeah, but that's not the only, you know, surgeries I had, which has been life threatening. Going back to 2016, like July, his appendix, I think what's the intestine? Sorry, what is intestines burst? So he had diverticulitis, which is very
like
similar to what
infection in the
so basically there's like little bubbles that come off the intestine, and then obviously stuff gets in and gets infected. But basically that blew. It's the same thing that Brock Lesnar's got. He gets that as well, you know. So he had a stomach bag, but I remember at the time he was in HDU in Morrison Hospital, and I went there about 3 or 4 times. He doesn't remember it, but I was there. And then after he recovered from that, I think mentally he was in a bit of a dark place, really. You know, obviously with 2 major surgeries like that, you know, it's crazy. Within like 10 years of each other, one's bad enough, let alone having the 2. And then literally, I think at the time where he was feeling bad, I had a phone call from my manager to say we'd been signed to the UFC, and I perked him up, like, you know. And he's a massive part of that story. My stepfather, a huge part, you know, with. At the time, and he'll tell you himself, when I said I wanted to be a cage fighter, he laughed his head off, you know. And he said, "You're not a kid." I was a baby on the mat. I used to cry when someone used to poke me, you know. And then he did, all fairness to him, help me out. He said, "Look, if you want to do this, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be nice." And then he was there for my first ever fight in Aberdare Leisure Centre back in 2011, Michael Sobel Sports Centre. That's been knocked down, I think.
Which one, sorry? Where was it?
In Aberdare. Michael Sobel Sports Centre. It's been knocked down, I think, but they've built a new one there. And he was there for the first fight, and I think he'll probably be there for the last one as well, like, you know.
Oh, that's cool though, isn't it? That you've kept your relationship throughout.
Yeah.
And for him as well, like, a note on him, it's amazing how really, obviously, he's gone through a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
And he's turned it around, and he's now helping people in like a similar position to him. Like, that's...
Yeah, you
know, that's such a positive move to make from a negative situation, isn't it?
And like the kids love him. The kids absolutely love him in the judo club, you know. Like I said, a lot of good fighters come from that gym, you know. And, you know, I think as a coach, he was amazing. But, you know, as like a special needs coach, I've never, ever met someone as good as my stepfather. Like, I mean, been brilliant.
That's awesome, mate. Where is it? Just because, you know, there might be people listening.
Yeah, so basically it's in Ponta de Lice in Swansea. I think they're hoping to open back up because they've been shut for nearly a year now.
Yeah.
And like basically, if you've seen my gym, and everybody's like, "Oh, lovely mats on the floor." They're my dad's. I've kind of borrowed them for a minute. You know, I'm hoping to get a delivery from Tatami tomorrow. But I think they're hoping to open back up after this lockdown's over because they do it in a community sports hall. Community sports halls are one of the places where when it first hit, they were like no, we're closing for a year. So they slotted into that category. It's nice for my dad to take some time off as well. Like I said, you know, he works really hard and hopefully now by March I'll be able to give him this match, but I'll have to clean him first though.
Yeah, he's
not going to be too happy with some of the marks on there, but no, fingers crossed they get back to it. And him and Peter Hayward, who were basically the spine of that gym. Him, Peter and Rian have run that gym for donkey's years, and without them the place won't be where it is now, so shout out to them guys.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate, isn't it? Because like a lot of people probably don't know what outlets they can go down when they're in that position, maybe, don't they? Like, because, you know, everyone needs to feel included, don't they?
100%, 100%. You know, at the end of the day, to do anything in life, you need good support around you. You know, include no matter what you do, even if it's myself, which is technically an individual in an individual sport, but like I have more support than most people. You know, and you know, most of them do it for nothing. You know, they just want to do it to be a part of the story, and the guys who have been at the start will be at the finish, and they'll reap the rewards in the end. You know.
It's good, don't it, that you keep in that mentality and not like, because I expect it's easy, and I expect you people left, right, and centre probably who want to like take your energy, like me. And
no.
You know what it's like though, don't you? Because like it's so easy to try and jump on and try and like make their name off the back of you.
But then again, in another way, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people give me a break. You know, they were like coming to meet me or doing sessions with me. Like my boxing coach, Darren Wilson's a guy who he'll come. Like basically, he'll say, "Brett, when do you do a session?" He'll do it on a drop of a hat. You know what I mean? And it's nice to It's nice to do something back though. And if someone says they need help with something, even just as little as some guy messaged me on like Instagram, right? Okay, and I don't promote, because the reason why I don't promote is, unless you're a sponsorship of me, then I don't tend to promote for people, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's my sponsors who pay valuable.
Well, yeah, you're kind of taking away from what they're giving to you.
Yeah, either product or financially, they sponsor. I'm doing a job for them, you know, by promoting. So if someone says, oh, will you promote my brand? I won't do it out of respect for the people who have already been there. But this guy messaged me a couple of days ago, and it was irrelevant to anything else I've got. If it's a conflict of interest, I definitely won't do it. But it was this random guy that messaged me, and he said, Brett, any chance you can share this post? And I looked at it and I said, look, I'd love to be able to help, but I can't. And realised it was just something to do with Vans. It was something to do with Vans, and it was a competition. That's all it was. It wasn't to promote the brand, but it was a competition. And I said, oh, mate, look, mate, I don't tend to do this, blah, blah. And he said, oh, look, he said, not that I'm at. He said, you don't have to do it. He said, but if I get someone who's verified on Instagram to retweet this or repost this, I get 50 quid. And I thought, you know, at the end of the day, I'm doing something that, okay, might not officially benefit me, but okay, that guy's got 50 quid in his pocket. If I just press this button here, and that's what I did. But like I said, it's nice to give something back once in a while. I think you got to kind of value your own time, but if you can help someone out in the thing, because he messaged me back about 3 hours after I did it. He said, look, mate, he said, this might be something small to you, but like, at least now I get to pay for the shop and for the family for the week. And I thought that was just, you know, at the end of the day, then it was worth it. But on the front of like companies and stuff, I don't tend to do that for simple reason, because I've got so many good sponsors, like Weekend Offender, Watchers, to name some, you know, them guys really do help me out. Tatami, them guys really do help me out. And I feel like it's not professional, and it's not professional, and it's not very, basically it's not very good for me to start promoting other companies around, you know.
I agree, because say you do like a sponsorship posts.
Yeah.
If you add like 5 which aren't paying on, you're kind of watering down
100%
what they are as well. Yeah. Because they're like, people, if you've got too many, people aren't looking either, are they really?
No, this is why I've started to basically have my own, like, for example, I'm trying to do this thing with sponsorship now where I'm sure we'll speak about it a bit later on, but when I'm doing this motorsport like thing. Yeah. And I want to try and tie them both in so they're getting double the exposure, not just, you know, because I feel like I'm personally really good with my sponsors who are trying to keep the relationship going and really trying to help people out. But it can be tough. Like you said, if I got a poster there, I've got so much money that companies have given me, but your badge is that big. It's just, I feel like then I'm not doing the job properly. Yeah. This is why I'll take less money so people can have proper exposure, because more than likely they want to do it again then.
It's got to be like an equal transaction, and it's got to benefit them and you.
100%. It's not, I think that's the problem, because I've wanted to do this on my YouTube channel, speak about sponsorships and stuff. But like, for me, I'm looking at so many fighters who are burning the bridge for sponsorship. Now, what I mean by that is, you give me £500, I'll put your logo on my shorts and that job's done. That's not done. The sponsorships that I do, it tends to be more like, if someone's going to financially help me or help me with product, first of all, they're not sponsors, they're more like partners. They're partners of my team. If they're coming on board and help me either financially or through product, they're partners of mine. And it's a two-way job. It's not a case of you going, we shake hands on that deal and that's it. A couple of this, couple of that. No, it doesn't work that way, you know. Like, obviously, aside from all the COVID-19 pandemic thing, you know, like, I do bits with Weekend Offender, for argument's sake. Sam Jones is a local boy in Cardiff. His brand is doing fantastic worldwide.
Is that his brand?
Weekend Offender.
I didn't know that. I was wondering how you boys like.
Yeah, so he's from Merthyr originally. Actually, not Cardiff. He's from Merthyr. Had his own shop in Soho. Helped out, like, you know, Liam Gallagher and stuff with clothes. Awesome. So he's doing really well. And like, I did a photo shoot for them guys, you know, where I've driven up to Derby just to do a photo shoot to come back down. Like, things like that, you know. Okay, I am using my time here, but it's keeping that relationship good. And like, the Weekend Offender guys are absolutely brilliant, especially with the sort of thing that I'm doing with the football casual side of things with Swansea City. Yeah. It kind of ties in, you know.
Yeah, like all the people who watch the football and stuff, that's the brand they kind of wear anyway, isn't it? So
yeah, like things like, you know, the clothing side of things, like I'm into my Adidas trainers, you know, and the clothing side of things, but the brand ties in so well, and it's easy to promote someone which you've got an interest in. Yeah. So easy.
If you like it, it comes natural, doesn't it?
It's not work then. You know what I mean? Exactly. If I'm doing something like I'm just trying to think at the top of my head, like if I'm trying to promote, like I'll say some makeup company want to come on board, like it's going to be very difficult for me to promote MAC makeup when I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's no interest in my missus would be brilliant at it, but not me, like, you know.
Unless they, really make it look fucking spectacular.
they're gonna need a good job.
Nah, don't be like that. Yeah. No, and clothes are cool as well, aren't they? The weekend offender clothes. Like,
Yeah,
it's
fashionable.
You're not wearing something you don't want to be wearing either, so it kind of makes it that much easier again.
My wardrobe in the house, I got basically there's 2 sliding doors because my missus had enough of using the rail. She had all the wardrobes in the bedroom. But I said, that's fine, but I want my own wardrobe eventually. I got some super expensive jackets and clothes there, and shoes as well. So she's like, yeah, no worries. And I left my favourite jacket, which is a CP company goggle jacket, on the end of the rail next to my window, and it's faded. This jacket is insane, and I got to try and get it fixed now. Although it's not broken, it's not ripped, the fading on it is horrendous.
It's one of a kind now, though, isn't it?
Well, I can wear it. I can still wear it. At the end of the day, it's still what it is, but people will spot it a mile off, But like I said, my clothing side of things, and Weekend Offender also, support Jack Shaw and Orban Elliott as well, and I think we're the only 3 fighters they have, Sam's boy, Marlo, if you go on Weekend Offender, you'll see Marlo on there. Right. But the guy's going to be a ninja when he's old. I'm watching videos of him. He's climbing trees in Ibiza.
Is he?
Yeah, he's nuts. He's crazy.
What's he training? Is he training to be a fighter?
Yeah, but he's only I have a guess. I'm saying that he's about 9-10.
Yeah.
But the boy's, he's good. He does a bit of jiu-jitsu. He just pads with Sam. He's matted his room out, so it's like a big gym in his room.
Class.
Yeah, it's crazy. But no, the brand have been brilliant, and the guys there have supported me and Jack and the boys, and we're really thankful, and that's why it's easy to promote companies like that.
Yeah, it's good that you're all involved in it as well, and it kind of makes it a bit easier. He's kind of sticking to the team, isn't he?
I love going on social media, and Jack will probably do this himself, and because me and Jack are sponsored by, I think, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people where we got the same sponsors. So I'll go on Jack's story and I'll realize he shared something from Tatami. I go, right, okay, I need to share something from Tatami. So it reminds you to keep on to these things, because at the end of the day, there's no beating on the bush. I think the leading guys in Welsh MMA have kind of got the same sort of sponsors. I know that Tatami sponsor Mason, Jack, me, the majority of guys, and I think all their bases are covered with Tatami, and that's so easy then to bounce off different fighters when they upload something. It's easy for me to upload with them,
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? They seem to have branched out as well. They got Gilbert Burns doing bits for them.
Yeah,
they seem to be growing, don't they?
Yeah, they got a strong scene, Tatami. People don't realise this, not only with fight wear, but for example, I'm getting my mats tomorrow, Tatami mats.
Yeah.
Tatami have sorted it out, got my own little personal logo on them. I'm looking forward, once all this lockdown is over and done with, that I'm able to take some sort of private sessions there and stuff, But they're brilliant. Gareth Dummer and the guys there, Lee and stuff, have been amazing,
You mentioned Mason. What did you think of his fight?
Yeah, really good. Look, at the end of the day, this is the highest level in combat sports. There is no higher level. You got Mason fighting on the Wednesday, you got Conor McGregor fighting on Saturday. I'm just,
crazy,
it is nuts. And I'll be honest, I think I truly feel that the lightweight division and the bantamweight division in the UFC are probably the strongest worldwide,
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that Mike Davis, he's a top guy, legit guy.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who he was until I looked back and watched some of his fights. And when you look back, it's oh my God, you can see he's like a killer, can't you?
Well, like you said earlier, Gilbert Burns, the guy to get his foot in the door, he took a short notice fight against Gilbert Burns just to get in the UFC. You know what I mean? And it didn't go his way, but that shows the type of person there. And his main training partners are people like Dustin Poirier, George Masvidal. That's his training partners. And I watched a clip of him out in Tiger Mud. He was good. He was legit. And I don't feel like the Mason was out of his depth. I think Mason probably knocked the nail on the head. He said, "Look, I'll adapt. I'll get back to it." His attitude to the loss has been fantastic. And
definitely, it's
going to be good to see what comes of this. I think it's going to light some sort of fire there.
I think it may. Obviously, it doesn't feel like it's the best thing that could happen to him. But long term, it could be, couldn't it? Because it'll change his game probably a little bit. And
my first ever loss was the same. Didn't feel like it was beneficial, but looking back now, it probably was to a certain extent. Fighting. My first ever loss was Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
My first ever loss. The guy's fighting for the UFC title now, so it was bitter at the time to see him, just basically watch him get his hand raised next to me, but in the grand scheme of things, losing to the best guys in the world, it's good. And Mike Davis will be a top contender. He'll be really good.
Yeah.
But I just think Mason and he'll know what to do himself. He'll change them things up, and he'll come back with a fire. Don't get me wrong. And getting a nice fight of the night bonus with that will, it's not gonna make him feel any better, but at least now, he's got a little bit of money in his pocket. He can change some things up, and it's good. I want to see every fighter do well at the level, and I think Mason could be a top contender in the weight division. Like I said, physically he can get there. He just needs to change some things up, and I'm sure he'll get into that top 15 within the next year and a half, 2 years.
He's young as well, isn't he? Was Mason 25? Is he
25? Yeah.
Like
He's a few years younger than me. Yeah.
Like your prime in MMA seems to be that he's coming into like the 30s, doesn't it?
Yeah,
really?
I'd say like it depends on what sort of like sporting background you've had as well. Like for argument's sake, I think me personally, like I think 32 maybe 32.
Yeah,
I see that being a good age for me just to basically get into my prime. That's going to be a good age for me.
You got so many aspects though, haven't you, to like perfect. Like, so you kind of got to grow into it, haven't you? Like if you're playing football, it's like kicking a ball, isn't it? You're gonna, by the time you're like 20 odd,
yeah,
you're at your physical prime.
Yes.
I suppose like with martial arts, it's not just physical prime; it's everything else. It's your skills, isn't it? Trying to build them up.
Yeah, I'm a true believer of like, because not everybody has the same age when they hit their prime.
Yeah.
Not everybody does. It does depend. I started from a very young age, so I feel like my prime is going to be slightly closer to the lower 30s than the higher 30s. For example, one of my mates, Owain Williams, his 30. I think he was kind of stressing a bit about the age and stuff. But I say, look, mate, you haven't started with a crazy background in fighting, but you're coming into it now. Like for example, Richard Shaw, he was 38 having his first fight,
Yeah, but most people aren't even contemplating it, like, are they?
No,
that sort of age.
It's just no. It was good. Once things like that happen, it puts me off. It does.
Yeah, I know, mate. I'm the same. Like,
once it goes off,
I've had airplane mode mine because I'm useless.
I might do that with mine now.
I've had it before, and I'm just here like,
yeah, but no. But like I said, I think age is just a number. I really do, and I honestly believe that. Like Tank is another one. He was a young guy in the game, so he's gonna feel like I can see me finishing at about 35, 36. I won't be surprised if it's younger.
Yeah,
but like. My lucky number is 36. It'd be quite cool to finish on 36, but it'll just depend on physically. Like, when I was doing judo, I felt like I could be bounced off rock and be okay. But then as soon as I turned to mixed martial arts, everything started going wrong. I broke my nose probably double digits now.
Really?
Yeah, I broke my nose in double digits. Ruptured my MCL on my right leg, my LCL on my left leg. I've had shoulder surgery. My neck and my back, that's a problem that I haven't gone into yet, but I know there's a problem there as well.
Serious wear and tear.
Yeah, and especially my style, it's like a wrestling style, and if you know wrestlers, they're the common normally when it comes to like injuries and stuff. And but last year was good. I didn't pick up. I got to touch wood or something now. Last year I didn't pick up many injuries, But you will get your niggly injuries. Like my dad always tells me through the judo days, your fingers and toes don't count. I've broken all my fingers and toes.
They don't count.
They don't count. They don't. Though.
I bet that's pretty grim, though, isn't it? Just breaking it.
Judo is like the thing. Like grip strength is a serious thing, and like I said, going back to Kyle, like. I think Kyle's got fingers which are like 2 inch thick. He's got proper judo hands. I thought after my judo days I'd be done and dusted with the whole grip thing, and then I fought Montel Jackson on Fight Island, and that was different. Then I was back in the judo days.
Yeah. Well, it was a close fight, but it was a good win, wasn't it?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel like it was very like the whole trip went really well. Going back to like last July, I felt like being there with the new team, and obviously being a part of a historic Fight Island was amazing. The whole staying in your room for like 48 hours at a time was frustrating to a certain extent. That was really tough. Like I think Dustin Poirier knocked the nail in the head last week when he said it was more like Fight Prison, not Fight Island.
Yeah, I seen that interview.
Yeah, it can be tough, like, and being away from home and stuff. And I was lucky. I usually take my brother everywhere with me. Like we done the first trip in Vegas with my brother was fantastic. And then Fight Island was brilliant. We had a quarantine in London for 2 days, I think it was, which was a bit rubbish, but we had to do it. We had our first class flight then all the way to Abu Dhabi. I think that was once in a blue moon. It's back to economy now, I think.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's just the first trip, was it?
We do not travel like that all the time. I think people look at the Fight Island It's the first ever time I lay down on a plane where I was able to sleep. It was amazing.
It's grim, just a standard plane.
Oh,
Grim, innit?
like I said, I've done 12-hour flights to Vegas before, and like I think I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
But no, the Fight Island trip there and back was exceptional. Like, you know, and yeah, I got to Fight Island and the heat out there, and being, like I said, big fan of motorsport. We were on Yas Island, the marina circuit, which is amazing. So like, we had to wake up at certain times where people don't realize this, that we were going to bed like 5 a.m. and then waking up at like 12 or 1 o'clock because we were fighting at stupid times. So we had to change things up.
Yeah.
But it was nice that when we like, you know, basically I'd have my first session, and then in the middle of the first session and second session, I'd sit in the balcony and be able to watch the cars go by, you know. I loved that. That was a little bit of a positive then, you could say, like, being there.
Take your mind off things and stuff.
But like, all fairness, my brother, you know, he does bits of like fighting and stuff, but he was holding pads for me, and he did his best to, like, weeks before we went out there, he was trying to take me on pads because he knew we were going to be in a room together for a while and I'm going to want some sort of workout, and he was brilliant, all fairness to him. But no, it was amazing. Obviously Jack fought first on a Wednesday, got the job done, so he went through his weight cut, and then when Jack was done, they concentrated on me and my weight cut, Richard and Carl, and yeah, we blasted through it. The fight itself didn't go to plan, and everything else around it was a good experience. I just feel like the Montel Jackson fight was a super, super frustrating one for me to watch, you know. I've watched every fight back. Every fight that I've ever had, I've probably watched it back 100 times plus. Every fight.
Yeah,
every fight. You know, the smallest of details, what I've done wrong, what I've done right. But the Montel fight, I just can't come around to watch that fully. It just frustrates me.
Yeah. One of them just grinds on you.
It does, yeah. Especially like but then again, like I said, I was frustrated. Like I come out of the fight and I spoke to the Shaky and Carl, and they said they were happy because of I stuck to the game plan. I listened to my coaches, and we got the job done. Like people forget sometimes is you're in the cage, but your cornerman can see everything. You can only see what's in front of you. They can see everything. I listened to my cornerman. I had trust. I had faith. You know, they've been brilliant coaches, and I got the job done. You know, and it was one of them fights which I'm glad I got over and done with, and I'm not planning to have that fight again. Yeah. But you know, don't get me wrong, if the opportunity presents itself, I'll fight any man. It doesn't bother me. Do
you think it was your expectations going into the fight? Did you think you were going to have a better result, so that's what let you down, rather than you got the win, but you couldn't be happy because you were expecting something a bit flashier? Or
yeah, I think so. I probably subconsciously was going into Fight Island to try and make a bigger impact on what I did. You know, I just want to fight. You know, it wasn't I'm usually the big talk on the card, whether it's losing the decision Montel Jackson, people saying, oh, that was a cracking fight, whatever, or whether getting the calf slice against Joe Soto. I seem to be the talk when I was getting the fight. And with Fight Island, I'd won, but it was just there was nothing back, really. There was a positive outcome because obviously you'd won. There was a lot of abuse as well because of the way I fought. And like I said, looking back now, I feel like it wasn't the best performance to date, but like you said, I think I had the expectation. I went in there and I was certain that my striking would have been on par level to Montel Jackson. Once I got clipped with that left hand in the first round, it kind of derailed me. I think if I just ignored that and gone back to my normal Brett John striking, I might have been alright. I might have been, but because he hit me with that shot and it was fast, it was hard. You know, I didn't know where I was.
Yeah,
it derailed me from that standard plan, and I knew what I needed to do in the grapple and the wrestle, but I basically stuck to that game plan instead of trying to mix up with other things. And like you said, it was a frustrating fight, very frustrating.
That's the thing, though. I think like we go through life, don't we? We expect we got this. We perceive how it's going to be rather than letting it play out, don't we? But like, yeah, if you went in there with no expectations, just with the aim to win, you probably may have come out feeling different, but
maybe happy.
It's easy to say though, isn't it? But everyone like's got expectations. Like it's like even with doing this, like I have some people come in, I expect it to be amazing. You leave and you're like, fucking hell, wasn't what I expected.
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
Same as anything, innit? You can build yourself up for something in this.
And like I said, you know, I've always been involved in good fights, you know, and I'm lucky. I'm not one of these guys that people say, oh, he hasn't fought nobody. I fought the best guys out there.
Definitely, mate.
The results probably once or twice haven't gone my way, but I fought the legit guys. You know, people forget the last two guys I fought. One was 9-1, the other one was 20-6, and that was my last two wins. You know what I mean? And I fought good guys, but I have expectation of myself and the level that I'm at, and it was frustrating as well for a number of things because it was my first fight with SMMA, and I wanted to make a big, strong impact there. You know, obviously being with a new team and making people go on our breasts with a new team. Let's see what impact he has. So obviously, it's a bit thing now because now going into the next fight, people will go off my last performance. Which, if that's my opponent, he's going off my last performance, that's not good because that wasn't where I was and where I wanted to be.
It might be good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so
sorry.
like people will be able to look back then, like at that, and think, oh, that's how he fights. And then the next fight, then it's a different guy. So there's pros and cons to fighting like that, you know. But I was happy to get a win over Montel. Montel's a tricky customer, you know. And after the fight, we didn't really speak much after the fight. I got a really good friendship with most of the fighters I fight with, but Montel was kind of kept himself to himself. But he was a tough fight, very tough. You know, fractured my cheekbone in the third round with a knee. But I was just lucky; it just bounced off my face, and I was like, right, okay, just crack on. It didn't hurt me at all, really, until afterwards, until my face started going out. But
the adrenaline was it? You just don't feel that in the
it was
time?
mad, see, because I felt like the bigger impact was technically the bigger impact was the knee. But the one that hurt me the most was the left hand on the pipe in the first, you know. I think wasn't sure if I felt like I didn't warm up correctly myself or whether it was just because I was too lax days in there. But when he hit me, it soon woke me up. Anyway.
You knew you were in a fight.
Yeah.
Mate, it's a mad sport, isn't it? It is a mad sport.
It's crazy. You get, like I said, you know, after watching the fights on the weekend as well, and Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, people wrote Chandler off, and I was going, this guy, because I'm a big Chandler fan. You know, I've always have been, and a year ago I'd fought Tony Gravely a year today. So leading up to that camp, I think it was like 4 or 5 days before I'd fought, I was in Miami, and we were doing bits and bobs in Henry Hooft's Hard Knocks 365. Cool. All the guys were there. You know, I'm on about, like, I was watching Vitor Belfort train. I was watching Robbie Lawler train. I was watching Anthony Johnson come in the gym. There's all these top fighters there, and I'm just looking around, and they're going, "Hey, what's up?" You know, and obviously Michael Chan wasn't at the time, but Henry Hooft is his main coach, and I spoke to Henry then while I was out there, and just saying thank you for letting us use the facility. But brilliant coach, fantastic coach, and what he's done to Chandler, he's just, you know, Chandler is primarily a wrestler, but he's got some sick power in them hands.
Hey, like. It was, like you said, it was a bit unexpected. I think the general narrative was he was going to lose. It was just going to be a set-up fight for Hooker, really, wasn't it? And,
I think so, yeah. And like, I could understand the frustration coming from Hooker, but I think a lot of people wrote him off because people look at the Bellator thing and they don't give the fighters in Bellator much respect. I've realised that now I've signed with them. You know, there's not a lot of like respect to certain fighters, but Michael Chandler is normally, like, you know, he whether they put him and Dustin next or Charles Oliveira and Dustin, I think he could potentially be the champion. I really do, you know. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to be the champion.
Yeah, like you said, because he's coming in as an underdog as such. Like, I quite like rooting for the underdog. Yeah. But it was mad to see Dustin win because he was wrote off as well, wasn't he?
100%, yeah. I'll be completely honest, like, it was the first ever time that I probably got my fight predictions right.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, other than the actual method. I did think that Chandler was going to win, but if it was going to be anything, it was going to be by stoppage. And Dustin, I didn't see it being in the second round, but I did see him stopping McGregor, but not until like the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, by knockout like that though.
Not the way it went. No, I didn't see it like that because it wasn't. It was a knockout.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, McGregor went out.
It was like he wasn't going to stick around for the rest of the fight, was he?
100%. And I just think I do honestly believe that the kicks were a big factor. Calf kicks, I know all about that, being caught with so many in my career. The calf kicks were a factor, and obviously the shot that hurt McGregor, I think he leant in for an uppercut and got caught with like a check right hook. Other than that, I thought the fight was very even. It's one of them where I think the pair of them are quite equal. I would absolutely love to see a third fight.
And I would, because they're both kind of knockout artists in a way. Yeah. It's hard to look at it. It was never going to go 5 rounds, I doubt, was it?
No, not at all. No. And I do think on a different night that some of the shots McGregor landed would have hurt Dustin in different ways. There was once or twice where he had his bell rung, I think.
He admitted he was hurt, didn't he, from the one shot? And
I love the respect that was shown this time. I wasn't a big fan of how the first fight went. I'm quite a respectful fighter anyway, and I don't like the trash talking. But you got to be honest, whether you like McGregor or dislike him, you always want to watch him, you know.
You do, yeah. Yeah, even now he's come off a loss. I'm sure he's probably still a bigger star. Like, I just can't see how anyone's going to overtake him in that respect.
The question is now, though, is who he fights next. I think there's 2 fights out there that you could do, or maybe 3 fights to a potential. But then again, I don't... Like, my opinion, I can see the Max Holloway corner fight, but then Max has got his own little path where I think he'd be fun for the belt again.
Yeah, realistically, if he waits, he's going to get it, isn't he?
Yeah, get a title shot, But, the one I'm leaning towards is either the Diaz 3 or the Poirier 3 fight.
Yeah.
I love the sound of them 2 fights.
I'm the same, because like you said, it could go either way with Diaz. Dustin.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's kind of hard because Dustin really now deserves a title shot, and you can't put McGregor.
No.
I don't see how you can put him in for a title shot after losing.
No, you can't. No, you can't, and you can't put him back in with Poirier for a 3rd fight either. You can't just do that.
Not straight. It's gonna have to be a bit of time. Maybe he fights Diaz, and if he wins that,
maybe put it on.
Because they said Diaz is going to go 155 next, I think.
If he does go 155, I'd like to see Diaz fight McGregor 155, not 170.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like McGregor is like, he is a 155 guy. Don't get me wrong, when he was fighting a 45, people were saying he was a 45er, but I feel like that cut was too much for him.
He looked rough, didn't he?
He did look bad, yeah, but I think lightweight's perfect. I think he wants to fight a welterweight because it's less weight to cut. You can enjoy the experience of going into a fight. Like, don't get me wrong, if you said to me, Brett, you don't have to cut any weight, I'm going to enjoy the experience a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to see McGregor fight for 155 against Diaz 3, and I'd like to see Poirier either fight Chandler or Oliveira next. That'd be a cool one.
Yeah, definitely.
Good fight.
I think like Oliveira, he probably deserves his shot now, doesn't he, realistically?
Yeah. Like I said, and that's not right, just engage you off as well, but he is coming off a loss, though, so maybe he wants to get a win in first.
Yeah, or him and Oliveira, like, kind of go for a contenders fight now.
Maybe. I think like he didn't like I think Dustin spoke and didn't like the fact that Chandler's just come in and just... But then again, in the other hand, it took Chandler 2.5 minutes to knock out a guy that Poirier went 5 rounds with,
Very cllose fight.
Yeah,
well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It
very
was
close.
very
Yeah.
close.
Like, and Chandler put him down, so we'll see what happens there. I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm interested as well.
Yeah, very interested.
It's like, you can't get enough of the 155 division, really, can you, in the UFC?
Like I said, the strongest one. The strongest one is out there. Like, there's divisions in Bellator and ONE FC, where the divisions are good. I think ONE FC have a really good heavyweight division. So does Bellator. The light heavyweight division with Bellator is a good one.
Yeah,
the welterweight,
Bader and everything in there.
You got the welterweight division where you got Douglas Lima, you got Rory McDonald and all them top guys, Michael Venom Page, and then you got 2 of the divisions. They got the UFC, which are spot on, is bantamweight and lightweight, in my opinion.
Definitely, and featherweight's full of...
Featherweight's another one full of stacked guys. You got like Brian Ortega, Volkanovski. You got Holloway. There's loads of guys.
Zombie, there's tons in that division.
And I love Zombie.
Yeah, he's awesome to watch fighting,
I'm a big fan of Zombie. Like, really big fan.
When you go over to Bellator now, I think I watched your latest vlog earlier today. You were talking about fighting Brian Moore. Is that what you're aiming to do?
Yeah. So all fairness, it hasn't been like one of them like sort of conventional call outs. It's just been like, Brian Moore. All fairness to him, I always see Brian Moore on Twitter and he's like, he's offering everybody out, like, you know what I mean? But for me personally, I think it's a good fight. I do. He's coming off a 2-fight win streak. I'm coming off a 2-fight win streak. His fights have been at like 140. So whether they want to do a 140 or a 135, at the end of the day, I'm a bantamweight. I'm not a featherweight. So I don't want to be fighting 145. That's the weight. If you I'll do a cash rate at maybe 140 or 135. No higher than that. Because of once I'm in that fight camp, my weight is down. It always is. Like, once I say to like Shake, I go, right, we're in camp, and you go, yeah, well, there you go. Like, we're in week 2 of camp, basically, in a nutshell. Nobody's officially said fight camp is starting now. We're in fight camp. The training we're doing now it's tough, it's hard, and I feel like we're in it. But yeah, Brian Moore will be a good one, man. Everybody, when I first signed, everybody kind of went off on the James Gallagher hype train and went, what about James? But James at the minute is 3rd in that Bellator rankings. They've dropped me in on a pin at number 8, and Brian Moore is there near the top 10 anyway. So I feel like it's a good fight to have. First one with the company. They got good UFC guys coming over from Bellator at the minute. They had Joe Romero. Corey Anderson's had his first fight, stopped Melvin Manoif. But I'm leaning towards the Brian Moore fight, and I want to fight the first show they put on. I don't want to wait until after that. my expectation was the end of February. But
Yeah.
I've speaking to my manager, and apparently they're going to go for the mid-March to end of March. But, you know, hopefully by the end of March, I would have had my first fight with a promotion. And I want to make a big impact. I really do. I really, really do want to make a big impact. And not only go there and win my fights, but, you know, I want to fight for the belt. You know, of course I do.
Mate.
You know, I've won 2 world titles with smaller organizations. I want to fight for the big belts, like, you know. And looking at the division, it's a stacked division, but so's the UFC bantamweight division. It's a stacked division, you know. And my goal is to get into that top 5, and then we'll work our way up. But there's loads of fights that I'd like in that division. I'm looking at the top 10, and every single one of them I'm happy to go in there with, you know. There's they signed me, and I think about 2 weeks later they signed a Russian guy called the Tiger, Magomedov, who strong, very, very strong wrestler. That fight intrigues me though. He's a good guy, trains with Mark Henry and them guys I think they're in New Jersey, I think they are.
All right.
With it's like Frankie Edgar's coach basically.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in that fight as well. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not shy of fighting the best guys in the world, and I've been in there, like, you know.
You got a hell of a chance of getting up and getting that belt, mate. And
100%. Yeah.
You did in the UFC. I'm not being funny. You fought like top blokes in the UFC.
Yeah.
It was just not your night, is it?
Wrong time, you know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, on that specific night, they were better than me, and they really were. My brother sent me a little clip though a few days ago, and although the fight with Pedro was you know, I'd had a bit of a hide in that night, but he kind of sent me a video and said, watch this fight carefully and score as a judge, you know. Like, the judges scored a first round for me and second round for Pedro. In my opinion, it was going the route of a 10-8 in the second round, but I don't know what happened, whether I had a second win, but towards the end of that second round, I caught him with a few shots, but it was definitely a 10-9 to Pedro. And going into that third round, if you rewatch that third round and watch that first minute, I have his number in the striking, but then he catch me in the body as the fight game, and then I end up going down, and he won the fight fair and square.
Yeah.
I'm not
hell of a fight that was.
In all fairness, I remember being in Los Angeles A&E, so we got to hospital, my face out here. I sat in hospital, absolutely heartbroken. I sat there, but I was happy. I thought, oh, okay, we're coming away with this fight of the night. And then they announced the fight of the night, and they give us a Cejudo, and they give it to Demetrius Johnson. And I was just in my bed, in my hospital bed, like,
the fuck am I doing here?
my missus said, look, we'll have a holiday, we'll stay in LA, we'll go to Universal Studios, and that day I was on crutches for the full week, so we just stayed in the hotel room. But no, like, you know, that was probably my favourite fight out of all my wins as well.
I see you two go back and forth quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah,
I
like Pedro. I do like Pedro. I like the way he is. He's a great guy, family guy. And I remember they put ATT, American Top Team, put a post on the wall because he's a proper fighter out of ATT. They got his post on the wall, and it's him near me in the mouth.
Yeah.
So I saw the photo, and I just wrote on the photo, well, I'm happy to make the wall in ATT, to be honest, you know, whether it's me getting lead in the mouth or not, you know. Yeah. But no, that was hell of it. That was a huge card. It was Cody versus TJ2, and then Cejudo picking that flyweight belt from Demetrius Johnson. And to be the part of that card was amazing. And I watched all like the people talking about it. The viewers spiked up. It hit like 1 million viewers, and they were watching the fight going, "This is crazy." So that was the positive of the whole weekend. It was I feel like, and it's not me kind of like thinking of like basically racing driver excuses, but I feel like with this new team, with this, like, you know, new attitude of mine, I'd see them fights going different. You know? Yeah, I do.
Do you do anything mentally? Like, do you do any mental training as well as physical?
To be honest, going back to like 2018, I was in a bad place mentally. You know what I mean? And then I won't get too much into detail about it, but I wasn't myself. This job, this basically thing I love doing became a job. Yeah. It was tough to get up in the morning and go to the gym and train. It was just tough. You know what I mean? And that didn't matter financially. It didn't matter. It had nothing to do with money. It was me mentally not being happy, you know, where I was and stuff. And it's been fixed. It's been fixed simply with moving, you know, and being with a team who I look forward to going to training. I got a horrendous session tonight. It's going to be tough, but I'm excited. I get to see people who make me smile and make me happy, you know, as far as like the coaching staff go at SMMA. And, you know, I get home, my missus is there and she's happy because I'm happy. And it's just, I feel like Scott Patterson, my main training partner, he's had like over 25 amateur fights, but he says the best. He says like, look, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And for the first time in my life, I'd say I'm probably right now the happiest I've been in my life when it comes to fighting.
It's good.
Yeah, it's very good. You know what I mean? I'm trying, and especially going through this pandemic where, it's not me trying to like rub in people's faces, but this is the time where I should be a bit down in the dumps, but I'm not, man. I'm not. I'm really happy. I think I've taken a step back and look at what I've got and look where I've come. Like for example, people forget about the whole UFC thing with me. A lot of people were really rubbed up the wrong way when I signed for Bellator, but they offered double the money. Basically, basically, I won't talk about figures, but I'll say briefly, the money that Bellator offered and the contract they gave compared to UFC, I could go into my next UFC fight. You get 2 paychecks. You get a show paycheck and you get a win paycheck, and potentially a bonus.
Yeah,
there's no bonuses in Bellator. It just is what it is, right? Okay. So I could show up on the paycheck the UFC offered me. My last paycheck they said they offered me and I turned down. I could have turned up, won a bonus, and it's still not what Bellator offered. What can I do?
At the end of the day, like, you've got to kind of look at your life, haven't you? You can't just look at like what people want you to do. It doesn't matter what anyone else wants.
No, that's what I'm saying about what we saw about social media and stuff. I mean, I feel like now you do a lot of things to help other people, which is brilliant. But that shouldn't take over your life. It shouldn't take over your life. You should be thinking about yourself. And when I sat down with 5 or 6 of the most important people in my inner circle, and not one of them disagreed with the decision that I made. And, and I tell you one thing, Shaky was a big part of that conversation when I phoned Shaky and said what he thought. And he totally agreed with me. I want to be able to pay for I've got a big house. My house, I got a mortgage on my house. I think I got probably 110 left on it, but I'd like to pay that off before I'm 30. I'm 29 next month. If I could get 3 fights, 4 fights in and pay my house off, that my mother said it best. My mother said, if you can do this sport and pay for your house off, then it's been a successful
what do you want out of life, innit? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can easily like get caught up in everything and think things are important that aren't.
Yeah.
And like for me, I was working my day job and an evening before, like I was working like every evening after work, every Saturday, and then I was like, I got the most money I've ever had, and I'm the least happiest I've ever been in my life. What's the fucking point?
No, it's in all fairness, like 2018 was like that. And do you know what's funny? It's 2018. I come into the new year. Don't get me wrong, it was a bad year, but going into the year was when I was mentally the worst. I was 15-0. I just come off the biggest win of my career, and Scott goes, "Hey, Brett, what's next?" And I go, retirement, I think. Just had enough, is rock bottom. And like after getting through the 2018 spell and then 2019 with injuries and getting through that was the rock bottom, and realizing, you just got to take a look back. When I first started the sport, I wanted everything. I wanted the fast cars, I wanted the mansion, I wanted the boat. And you get older and you get wiser.
Yeah.
I'm happy just to have my house. I got my fiance, we got a wedding to pay for. I'm an everyday person, just like anybody else is doing their job. This is a job for me, just my job happens to be in the entertainment business where it's out to the public, but if I can pay my house off before I'm 30, that would be a big tick.
Yeah.
Big tick.
It might be different for you because you're a car person, but me and my brother were having this conversation the other day, and we were talking about if I had a Ferrari, I'd love it for a week, and I'd probably get bored of that the same as anything. Might be different for you because you love cars. But this time, like with the pandemic and everything, it kind of tests like what's important to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you like, is being materialistic important to you, or is it like who you've got in your life, in your family, in your house? Because if you're not happy in the house that you're in at the minute, like that's a tough place to be, and it highlights 100%. It, doesn't it?
I'd say I am quite, like I said, my fiance tells me all the time, I am quite a materialistic person. I do enjoy having things, but I definitely think that's taken more of a back step since getting into quarantine and having a look at all, like I've got a lot of friends and family who've picked up COVID, a lot of friends who have passed away from COVID, and I'm very lucky. Yeah, I'm very lucky, and like I sometimes we do take things for granted in this world. We really do, and there's sometimes when you feel like you're being a bit too much, just take a step back and have a look at the bigger picture. I have a fantastic family. you know, me and my fiance getting married next year. I'm looking forward to that as well. So it's just the smaller things in life we should be looking forward to. And I know the times can get tough. I got so many people at the minute on social media messaging me saying that they're struggling and stuff, and it's very sad. You know, I try and put my 5 pence in and make people feel better and stuff, but it's tough, man. It's tough, like, you know.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And like, we were talking about social media a bit in depth beforehand, and so easy to lose your mind with things and think that like likes and views and this and that is important when, like, it's good to have goals maybe. Yeah. But don't let that base anything on your happiness or anything like that.
No way at all, no.
It's so easy to do, isn't it? And
100%. We're in that society now where social media and things like, I even come here straight. The first thing I said to you was, I need to start doing more video blogging and to get some more hits on my YouTube channel, you know. But yeah, you know, you should, you know, the most important thing in life is your inner circle, and your inner circle should consist of having friends that you could probably count on one hand, your best friends, you know, and having your family, and that's the most important aspect of life.
I agree with you, mate, because I've been here like years ago, you know, when you're out drinking every Friday, Saturday night, you got more friends than you can count.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not saying that I built relationships with all them people. Yeah. I still get on with them, keep in touch every now and again. But when it comes down to it, realistically, like you said, one hand probably.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
the ones you can count on.
And like I said, you know, like that's the big thing that I've changed. I'm a big, people don't know, I enjoy a drink. I enjoy having a drink with my friends and stuff. But like that's another thing that doesn't really help the situation is drink. And I've kind of stopped that through Christmas. The first Christmas ever where I had no fights, nothing. And I didn't touch a drop, man. Didn't bother me. I was happy. I'm healthy. I realized once I drink, I have the week where I go 5 steps forward and have a drink on the weekend. I'm 6 steps back, you know, and you feel happy, and subconsciously, mentally, it does affect you. That does, you know. So
yeah, mate. Like for me, food, drink. I know for a fact if I'm bad for a long time, you get used to feeling bad, so you don't even appreciate how much is actually fucking you up. It's only when you step away from it,
100%,
try it again, you realize, oh, that's what it's doing to me.
Completely, because I never did realize until I took. I think it was like the start of quarantine where like I said, look, I'm not touching any drink, I'm not touching any alcohol, I'm not touching any bad food. Then about 6 weeks in, you're going, whoa, the difference. I was going out running every day, I was cycling every day. You know, I wasn't obviously doing the training sessions I was doing because that was when it was probably at its strictest, but I was running, I think, and I felt amazing, man. And like I've taken that concept on since the start of lockdown into the fight with Montel. I was hoping to fight in November. I was in good shape. Now we're doing the same thing again, you know. But no, things are going good with the whole dieting and mentally looking good, you know. And obviously I'm planning some other things on the side which is going to help me mentally as well, which is exciting, you know. Obviously with the whole race in Malarkey.
Yeah, that's cool, mate. So how's that going to look? As in like time? Have you got to invest a lot of time into the racing, or
To be honest, mechanically, I'm not that clued up, you know. But I've got a lot of like friends who are willing to help and who are happy to help, you know. Just want to be a part of a race team and stuff. And I might actually set up a meeting with Swansea University because they got a motorsport department where you can basically, I'll provide everything, but the guys will fix it there. That's what they do, you know. It's a course and it was a course that I wanted to do, believe it or not, but I didn't end up doing it just with a whole going back to sixth form. I ended up working on site, but it was definitely something I had my eye on. I don't think I had enough qualifications to get into it. You know, I wasn't brainy enough, but I've always kind of said I wanted to do motorsports. And like I said, back in 2017, I raced 3 times that year done in Pembrey Circuit. I think the best result I had out of the 3 times was a 4th in class. I was saying earlier, my missus was my co-driver.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but all fairness to her, you know, I thought...
You want to tell the water bottle story? Or?
Yeah, I will, no. So,
I think that's what people need to hear.
Yeah, so Motorcana is like point A to point B as quick as you can, but it's not, there's no straights. It's just all like this, you know what I mean? And if you hit 40, 50 miles an hour, you'll realise that it's fast when you're always turning the wheel. And I think I come like just before the halfway point and I pressed the brake. I braked late into a corner and I previously must have drunk before the race, drunk water and threw it behind my seat. And I pressed the brake and the thing flew underneath the seat and it was by my feet. And I thought, oh, I don't need that to go underneath the pedals. Really don't. So my girlfriend's there and she's like, what's up? I said, oh, look, there's a bottle between my legs and we're doing 50, 60 go. I'm not stopping. I can't stop. So I'm flying around. and she takes the harness off, which is like a 5-point harness, I think at the time it was. She jumps over me, goes in between my legs, grabs the bottle, and throws it her side and clips herself back in while I'm throwing the car left to right, you know. But them harnesses, it's not a case of you just click and you're done. She click, 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 click. She's in. And all fairness to her, that the morning of that race, I'd phoned my mate and he kind of like let me hang in a bit. So it was a bit like, oh, do you want to come? And no, she actually said, oh, do you want me to come? And I was like, do you want to? And she's like, it was one of the things, God, I've said it now. But we went there. I think out of all the times I raced with my mate Ben Miles, I raced with my best mate Kyle in my Subaru. The Subaru was probably the worst experience. It was too big. I'm more the smaller hot hatch guys. But the best result I had was probably with her. I think we had a 4th in class one time. But
and the water bottle, and you still got through it.
Still got through it. You know what I mean? Like 4th in class as well with the cars that they're all MX-5. We will drive MX-5s and stuff, most of them. But yeah, this is a new sort of thing though. Rallycross is a popular sport at the minute. Where if you watch the FIA Rallycross series, it's basically it's a circuit race, but it's a circuit race on tarmac and gravel.
Yeah,
and then you'll have. I think it's like you got qualifying laps. The one that I'm doing is slightly different, but for the World Rallycross Championship, you got 4 qualifier heats. There's 4 cars in each heat, and there's 4 laps. So what you got to do is go around the track as quick as you can. It's a race, and it's quite physical to a certain extent as well.
I bet. Yeah.
It's not bang a race. You're not meant to hit each other, but you do. And you got 4 laps, but you have to take the Joker lap at least once. Now, the Joker lap is a longer route.
Right.
You have to take that at least once. It breaks the race up, and it's fantastic.
What is your choice which lap?
You can do whatever time you can do it early on, but you want to do it so it creates more space for you that you're not held up by traffic. Although it's a race,
interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting. And I watch it, and even now, you got like spotters who are in a tower who tell you, right, take Joker now. But I'm watching them going, you should take the Joker now. You know, he's getting held up. You want more open track, take the Joker. You might be at the back of the field, but everybody else hasn't taken the Joker. It's really interesting. And the BTR day, the one I'm doing, they don't do it all the time, but there's certain tracks which do have a Joker lap in. And I love that aspect of racing to change things up. You know, it's not just a case of just going around the same loop all the time. You know, because in the same loop, you know, the same corners that are coming up, you know what gears to hit. But once you break that route up by once, just taking the Joker lap once, you've got to change your mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the change of surface. You're on asphalt, you fly in, and then you hit dirt. Like, obviously, things are going to get more slipperier, you know what I mean? And I love that. So I've entered my first season. I haven't got a car yet. Obviously, we're waiting for... With my whole sponsorship thing, with my fighting, I'm going to try and cross that over into racing as well. So it's like the sponsors are going to get double the exposure instead of me. Obviously, I'm going to be on TV fighting with Bellator. I can have logos on my shorts and have banners for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
But also have the logos on the cars and stuff as well. This is why I wanted to go down that route. So we're just waiting for like sponsors and partners to come on board and help with that side of things. But as for all the equipment and stuff, the licenses, the memberships and stuff, that's all done. I've just got to wait for a car and enter. I think I'm number 41 this year. Spoken to the guys there. They've come back and said your number's 41. So there's 6 races this season. I might do 3 if I'm lucky. It does depend on fights and stuff and if we're financially able to do it as well. But there's a double header in August. So if you guys want to come down, August the 7th and August the 8th, it's the only time in the calendar where there's a back-to-back event.
All right, yeah,
so
that'll be fun.
So the 7th is Pembury and then the 8th is Pembury. But they classed as 2 championships. So I'm at the minute, I'm not going to say 100%, but at the minute I've decided to go like the production class, 1600, 16 valve, which is the more popular. You're on about, I think it's like 30 cars maybe in that category. So I've entered straight into the most popular group, which is what I want because I want good competition. You know, I'm not going to pull results out the bag. People forget something. This is fun for me. This is my hobby. My fiance's in the house. She's pulling her hair out. She's going, you do a dangerous job, and all of a sudden you want to do a dangerous hobby. Why can't you just be normal? But everything's ready to go.
Normal's not fun, is it?
It's not fun. No, what's the point, man? You know, in all fairness, like I'm watching Rallycross, and she'd be like reading a book, and like I'm watching on YouTube, and the next minute she can go, and she look up, and there's a car upside down, and she goes, brilliant. I can't read it. But at the end of the day, I've always been my real hobby, passion has been motorsport. You know, I'm good at fighting. It's a job, and this is what I said earlier about it's 2 opposite ends of the coin. They're both adrenaline rushes.
Yeah.
One, one, I enjoy the freedom of just going as fast as I can. The other, I'm scared for my life. There's two different sort of things. You know, you think it's the same, but the adrenaline rush is completely separate. If I had to pick one I prefer, it would be the car. I prefer that adrenaline rush rather than adrenaline rush of fighting, but they're both adrenaline rushes.
It'd be cool though, wouldn't it, now? Because like you can kind of build it in, and then when you do come to retire, you can transition, like concentrate on that.
100%. So that's another thing as well. I'm a plan B. A lot of fighters don't have a plan B, you know, plan A. And they shouldn't have a plan B because plan B takes you off plan A.
It's dangerous to not be fully into plan A, isn't it, when it's fighting.
I know my goal for plan A. And like I've got my goal, and plan A is the be-all and end-all until I hit retirement. I'm looking at most of these rallycross drivers who are driving. They're in their 40s and 50s. Like, I'm going to be well and truly done by that age, you know what I mean, with fighting. And I'd like to do things in my life which I want to do. You know, I worked in a building site for 2 years, and I hated every second of it. I'm not built for normal life. I struggle. I really do struggle. That's another time where I was in a bad place mentally, was working a job when I knew my passion, I knew I was good at fighting, I knew I could make a living through fighting, and I'm wasting my time on a building site, you know what I mean? That's not me having to go at anybody who's on a building site, that's just me personally. That was my own goal, and I felt like I was getting restricted and stopped from doing my goal. Then I'd done the crossover, and it eventually paid off. Well, it has paid off to a certain extent, but the real passion for me was motorsport. But being 15 years old, living in my mother's council house, I couldn't afford to do anything like that, you know what I mean? So now I'm in a position where I could pay my house off before I'm 30, and then, you know, save money up and potentially compete at... I'm not up with world championships. But then again, I'll never say never.
Yeah, you can't rule it out, can you?
No, I never thought I'd reach the UFC, to be honest. My main goal was to win a world title, and I'd done that within... My first ever fight was October 2011. I was professional world champion by September 2013.
Yeah, that's fast. Like,
as I said, so I was like, I was done. I was like, oh, okay, I've done what I wanted to do. And then it was a case of, well, I can't just stop, can I? So I carried on, and eventually then you realise you had other goals and other commitments, and it was to get to the UFC, and then it was to stay in the UFC and become champion. But sometimes your route, it's not a plan B, but your route does go off somewhere else, and my route has gone off somewhere else with Bellator. And like I said, I got a 4-fight contract. I'm more than likely have my second one with them as well, and we'll see what happens after that. But as for the sport of fighting, I've done everything I've wanted to do. Everything. Yeah. There's not a single thing that I haven't done. You know, I've picked, not that I wanted to lose, but I picked up losses. I know that feeling. I've won world titles. I've won the UFCs. I've won bonuses in the UFC. You know, I went through the whole sort of progression of going through the ranks as an amateur, as a pro. Yeah. I've done everything. I've done everything I wanted to do. And for example, I could go out there now, fall over, hit my head, and they go, right, you can never fight again. But I'll be happy with everything I've done.
Yeah, you know? That's a good place to be, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. So now everything from now on out is a positive.
Yeah, and like taking these like having a loss doesn't like define you as a character. If anything, it probably does. Like, but for good reasons, doesn't it? Because like you can't win everything in life, can you? So it shapes you, like, doesn't it?
Not everybody can walk around with a big white afro and be Habib, you know what I mean? Not everybody can be like that. But I guess as a coaching point of view as well, because I see my future going, like, you know, motorsport, but I will have my own gym. I'm not sure how I'm going to juggle it time-wise. I don't know, but I know what I want to do. And I'm not going to pick one over the other. I'm going to try and do the both of them. But I think having a loss and being a coach is quite an important aspect to have. To be a coach and be undefeated and never taste the experience of losing is a big thing. This is what I was on about earlier, about being in the trenches. Yeah. You've been in the trenches, you know what it's like to have a bad loss. I know what it's like to have a bad loss, you know, getting carried out of the Staples Centre. You know, I basically couldn't walk and I was getting carried out of there. That was a surreal feeling, but I would not change that for the world. Yeah. I wouldn't. I experienced that, and that was like the most rawest feeling in the whole world, but that's what I wanted to do.
Now you've been through that pain, like, it shapes you more, innit? You know what you're doing now going forward, and
yeah, like I said, I know what I want to do now. So that's the whole, as a hobby, it's the motorsport, going into rallycross. You know, it's the BTR Day is like a promotion for people just getting into the sport. And if it does end up going to the British Rallycross Championship, but then the cars you're on about there, 600 brake horse, you know what I mean? It's a different ballgame again.
Serious money as well.
Yeah, serious money, you know. Like the sponsors I'm getting now are really like successful people, but you're on about bigger sponsors again then. And it's like, yeah, like I said, you know, that's the route I want to go down. And after fighting, if I can try and open up a business where I can go down the motorsport route as well as coach, then that would be brilliant.
Awesome, mate. Well, I look forward to seeing it. I can't wait to see you fight your first Bellator fight, make your way up to the championship.
Yeah, fingers crossed it's that Brian Moore. I'm really excited for that fight, and if it does pull ahead, that'll be a cracking little start to my domination in that promotion.
Yeah, and I hope things open up a bit. It would be pretty cool to come down and see you race them cars
100%,
around. Yeah,
100%.
so do you want to let everyone know where they can find you? And
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Brett Johns MMA, on Twitter, 36 Johns. I got, I think, a Brett Johns MMA page on Facebook as well. My brother runs that one. Email brettjohnsmma@gmail.com. And then lastly, which is one I'm working on at the minute, is getting more subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is Brett Johns MMA. But like I said, it's been brilliant. We've had a good little journey, so keep it going now, innit? Thanks for having me as well.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
I'll tag all your social medias and everything on there, and like and subscribe. Cheers, mate.
Awesome.
Experience Real Podcast.